1/3, 2/3, whereas about 1/3, it's been done in different ways. His actually, so 1/3 in front of the apex of the frog and 2/3 behind. Actually, on his, he didn't count the breakover right here. So in his system of mapping that he did, one major thing about it, and you can go on YouTube and look at it, ELPO mapping system, blah, blah. Okay. He said there is 1/3, 2/3 balance, natural balance to the equine foot. Okay. Now, other people took his theory and they did it like this. Okay. They did it. Let's see here if I can do it. They made it like this. So you had 1/3, 2/3, 3/3. Okay, on his, he didn't count the breakover. This is called the breakover in the toe right here. Okay, so the way it was is you would measure from the base or dimple of the frog back here somewhere forward and divide that in half. See? Divide that in half, and then you take that amount and you go forward right to there. There's where your breakover should be. And this is the size your foot should be. Okay? And like I said, other people did it like more like this, divided it into 3/3 somehow like that. But anyway, um, here's the problem with that. And that is like on this foot here, they would take down the heels to the base of the frog, which would be right here. I'm going to put it in blue. So this is what I used to do. Take the heels down to the base of the frog back here. They all do that. Okay. Or they measure from the hairline to the end of the periopal, which is 1 1/8 inch. And I don't know if you noticed, but in that little tool that guy come up with where you trim your horse into a 30-degree hairline, it's got a measurement part that says 1 1/8. So in his little measurement tool, you would put that on the bulb hairline up here and roll it over. And here's where you take your heel down to here. Well, this is what happens. When at first, let's say here's where the heels are. Okay, let's just look at our our third thing that we got here. Okay, got 1, 2, 3, right? The thing about it is, as you trim these heels down and you think you're bringing them back, like, okay, if I trim this foot down here and I took the heel down, it'd bring it back to here, right? Okay, you think you're bringing it back, but what happens is then as the horse tries to stand back up, he pulls this heel you've lowered, he pulls it in and curls the heels in like this. And so what happens is, whereas the distance, let me get a different color, the distance from the apex of the frog to your base might have been like this. Eventually, as these heels curl in, this heel is going to actually move forward. And so this heel that's right here will wind up being here. Okay, but you don't know this has happened. And so the distance between here and here has gotten shorter. Well, then when you divide that in half, see what it starts doing, starts making your toe look longer than it really is. And so then you come in here and you divide that in half again, and you take that measurement, you put it up here, and hey, how'd that happen? Your toe's too long now. In reality, your toe is not too long. Your toe could be the same. Not that it can't shoot forward, because when you lower the heels, it puts all those horn tubules at a lower angle, forcing forward. So then you have to come in and take your toe back so that you will maintain your 1/3, 2/3 balance that you think you're supposed to have. And so what happens is, as you do this, the foot gets smaller and smaller and smaller. You're not only making it smaller because you're trimming the heels out and they're actually moving forward, you're making it smaller because when you keep taking that toe back, because see, this foot can bend in the middle. The internal foot can literally bend in half. As you take the toe back, it starts pushing the coffin bone back. As you take the heels down and back, it starts actually developing false heels and they actually wind up going forward to where you're making this foot, which may have started out this long, by the time you're said and done, it could wind up being this long here. Okay. And to prove that, just a minute here, because this is just what these feet do. Hold on. Go to my old standard. How to prove this is the truth. Just a minute here.
When you're done with this point, may I go back and address what Angeliki just brought up about bringing the toe back?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Here's an example. Just a minute. Right here. This horse kept making heels kept being brought down to where eventually, see, this shows you kind of, well, this foot's bigger than this one, the same horse, okay? But when I met her, the horse had this foot here because it was being Strasser trimmed, which is the same as Jamie Jackson trimmed. Okay. We just saw the picture of that horse's foot where he's claiming Strasser says, because those two, were, kind of married at the hip there for a while on this whole natural trim thing. And so this is how small that foot got. The coffin bone ends right about here. And so this foot is soft cartilage and fat. All this back here, soft cartilage and fat. That's how it can be bound into a smaller hoof capsule right there. So that's one aspect of something that goes onto the toe. Okay, I'll hand it over to you. What did you want to share about that?
My point is, as a newbie, so I feel like a lot of you have been doing this for a very long time, so forgive my lack of vocabulary. But to Angelique's point, I feel what is helpful to me is when bringing back the toe, there has to be some place for it to go. So I feel like in this example, in number one, picture number one, someone might be trying to bring back the toe, but there's no place for it to go because the heel is so run forward.
Yeah,
Not just about bringing the toe back, it's having to open up to reverse engineer the end of the heel of the hoof in order for the toe to come back. Did that make sense?
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And we we have been talking about that in the last, year or so about how before you can get the front of that foot straightened out, you're going to have to get the back released because there's nowhere for anything to go. Plus, it's different than that too. It isn't that the toe needs to come back. It's also this deal here. Just a minute. Um, because I'll show you these pictures.
I apologize for the redundancy. I was very much involved in tax a couple years ago, and then it took a break.
No, it's not redundant. I'm the most redundant person on the face of the earth.
You're
Haven't
wonderful.
you noticed that?
You have the patience to do this every Tuesday, especially on Christmas Eve. Merry Christmas Eve to everyone, or Christmas for if you're already there. No, this is really, really wonderful and helpful. And thank you
Oh,
for shepherding us.
oh, good. Thank you. Okay, so let me find this picture, trying to remember where it's at. Let's see. Maybe here. Because, okay, now keep the thought. We're talking about the toe coming back, how you have to release the back of the foot so the toe has somewhere to go, right? So
Correct.
this is another thing. Now,
But I don't want to derail us from the original images, which I think will prove your points because those bulbs, I think it's Devon's horse, that were so pronounced.
hmm
Like I think that toe wants trying to bring that toe back, but yes, where can that toe go? Because those bulbs are so pronounced, they're so angry.
yeah,
What did she do now?
yeah. Um, but we needed to go here anyway. No, everything you say is pertinent to what we're talking about here. So, don't worry about that. Okay?
Thank you.
Okay, so I just have to find oh, okay. Here we go. Because this has to do with it. Um,
And actually, on him, if you look at kind of like where the mapping is, he has a short toe. I
yeah,
didn't really, I mean, I was to the point where like I don't want his toe back anymore.
yeah,
But
no
if you
way.
look at the way the hoof is, you could tell that the capsule, even though it's small, is
hmm
shifted forward. So, I've got my frogs, I've got what I think are my heels, but trying to get the whole capsule to push back, you know. And
Yeah,
so definitely like, trimming the frog extra to allow that makes sense. It can get all built up in there, but forever it's been, build up the frog, make sure you have the frog, don't touch the heels.
yeah,
And, so um yeah, definitely seeing where the frog and the periopal skin can come up and bound the back of the hoof, even though it looks like you got good cartilage, because
oh yeah,
I don't know from the side, it looks like it's pushed up, towards the back of the hoof. So you're like, okay, it's not completely just on the ground. So definitely trying to get that. So for him, I didn't really want to shorten the toe anymore.
oh, you
Just
wouldn't want to. I mean, he
no.
not at all.
Yeah, but
It's
but that's how you get that first picture, that last one, the
yeah,
toe, and then now it makes sense that these feet are bounding with all the internal structures jamming into the capsule. Then you get that Chinese hoof binding, or it
exactly, yeah,
pushes that coffin bone forward, so it's not even really the toe that may have caused that in the first place. So it
yep.
makes perfect sense. Awesome.
Ah, good. So like here, okay, so I thought I had a good foot. All right. I thought I had a good foot because when you would look at the sole, see, now this is me being redundant because I have shared this multitudes of times. Let me see here. If I can find a picture of the sole. Okay. This is the foot in 2019. I mean, to me, this looked good, you know. Um, got nice thick sole in the heels. Okay, but I would look at the cartilage. By then, I knew the cartilage is supposed to look like this. See the difference? How much more straight that is and extended? That's how the true cartilage is supposed to be. And I would look at this because when it got wet, it would expand, and when it dried out, it would curl in like that again. So I got to thinking, well, anyway, it led to me figuring out that that periopal between the bulbs is holding the whole foot. Um, and so I started cleaning it out. I don't know if I have a picture of me cleaning it out here, what it kind of looks like. Just a second here. Anyway, right between here, I cleaned that out and I put the foot in a boot and I soaked it. And so let's see here. Okay, so this is how it started. Then I cleaned out all that periopal between the bulbs. 2 days later, it looks like this. And 4 days later, it looks like that. See how the cartilage is expanded? And here, if you look at this foot here, it looks like it has a flare in the toe, kinda. There's a dish, right? But when the back of the foot released, the dish came out and even straighter here. And the heel stood up as well. So what happens is, see, your inner foot, when all this anatomy gets pushed up into here, it pushes in. You got a coffin bone and a short pastern bone here, navicular bone in there too. But anyway, so it pushes that joint forward. It pushes the toe down and back, but it's forcing the hoof capsule forward. So they're pulling in two different directions. So you release the back of the foot so that anatomy is not pushing up there and pushing that coffin joint forward. And look at how the bump, that bump ain't there from that. That's where your coffin joint is, right here between the two bones. So when the cartilage and the anatomy that was shoved up in here came out, that bone was able to relax. And uh see, because that toe, okay, when it rotates on this bone, instead of being like that, it's being pushed back this way. So it was able to relax and come forward. And so you see the dish is out of the dorsal wall now. And then a couple days later, it's even straighter when all the anatomy is released back here. So and plus you got to remember they've put in our head not just no heels, but no toe. See? And now if you go look at these wild horses, they got toe. Some of them can be super steep and stuff like that, but then you'll see others with a lot of toe, you know. And when their toe gets too long and it brings forth their heels, they'll break out in the quarter, and then the leverage will help them pull their cartilages back. See? So, you know, these images that are put in our head are, I know that you could go on barefoot sites and they would tell you on your horse to take down the heels and take down the toe, take back the toe, even though there's nothing there to take back. You know what? Because people are not seen right, because they have that one dead